Alright guys, what is going on? We just got done seeing a pretty decent episode of Impact. Really, my feeling going into this was I'm just ready for the India tapings, because everyone knows that from, just from people on Twitter putting out the stuff, that really that crowd was into it. It looked like, it just feels like it's going to be a good show. So that's really what I'm ready for. You saw me flipping through the channels, or heard me, it just ready for those shows. So, still no bias, except for there's something that I don't like. We had EC3 start the show, and you guys remember when he had that campaign about he wanted to be the champion in 2015, EC3 for Champ 2015, and he had the quartet out there. Well, he brought them back. They're different people, but it still was hilarious because they had them singing the Trouble song. He went out there and named everybody, which Cousin Mashed Potatoes was fucking hilarious. I enjoyed it. So then El Patron comes out, and really, this is what confused me at the end of last week's show. They said that a couple weeks ago, El Patron's got the golden ticket, he's in the main event of Slammiversary. Then they do this number one contenders match, and now EC3's in the main event of Slammiversary. So I was waiting on them to do something like this. I don't think they ever should have done it. I think they should just kept it with El Patron instead of having to go through all this. Even though they were great matches, it just made no sense. So before El Patron could really get in there and beat EC3's ass, which what it looked like he was going to do, Bruce Pritchard, Dutch Mantell, and Karen Jarrett come out and make the main event a steel cage match. Winner gets GFW title and the shot at Bobby Lashley in the main event of Slammiversary. I was like, okay, I knew what was going to happen. It was pretty predictable, but to get to this point, I don't think we needed all these unnecessary stops they had in the rivalry. We didn't. But, whatever, the matches were enjoyable, so there's not really nothing to complain about, just kind of confusion with everything that happened. So our first match was Eli Drake versus Moose. Finally getting the match between the two. We had special judges, which were Bruce Pritchard, Scott D'Amore, and Dutch Mantell. And they brought out Tyrus to be their bodyguard, even though what confused me was, is he still with Eli Drake, or is it just Adonis and Eli Drake? What is that? They never really did a conclusion to that, if maybe they're still together and they just paid Tyrus more at the moment. I don't get that part, but it was a good match. A decent match. It's one thing I want to say is, since Jarrett's took over the creative and all them, those Grand Championship matches have been just so much better. Honestly, when they first started it, I did not enjoy it. Now I'm getting behind the matches because they're good. The final, it was tied 1-1 going into the final round. Looked like they should have gave it to Eli Drake, and they gave it to Moose, which kind of shocked me. But I think there's going to be like a conspiracy gimmick going, not gimmick, conspiracy rivalry or something like that going forward, which I can totally see that. Eli Drake's kind of been already saying that they've let everybody else get title matches, they're screwing him out of the title. Guess what? He can literally say that now. So yes, I feel like that'd be a good idea. So our next match, which was Allie versus Rosemary. Rosemary was in the back talking about how Allie needed protection, and that's what they were there for. So I was like, okay, maybe this can be good. I think it can. We're going to have to wait and see like everything else. Decent match. It was Amber from the Garage. Amber Nova from the Garage. And the funny thing is Josh Matthews is like, why is she from the Garage? And Pope's like, man, she can be from my garage. It's like, yes, Pope. Thank you. I was thinking the same thing. But it actually turned out to be a pretty good match. This was the first official singles match where Allie's actually been in there by herself, not with Maria or none of that stuff. And it was a decent match. Nova got some decent moves in, when she had her by her knees and was banging her into the turnbuckles. I thought that was unique, and it was a good match. And Allie does turn up getting the victory after the Alley Driver, I think is what Pope called it. It was pretty much a Death Valley Driver. So, Alley Valley Driver, I think that's what Pope said. I like the name of that. That name sounded good to me. So we get back, and Josh Matthews is pretty much talking about how he's scared. JB don't want to do the match. I can never get that. I don't know, but that whatever. Let's reset. No edit. Here we go. Really, that they're scared. They're trying to get out of the match. So we go back and get an interview from Joseph Park and JB, which I thought was pretty funny. JB's like, I don't want to do this match. It's a big Papa Pump. And Joe Park's like, you know what you got to do? You got to buck up. And the training starts now. And he just says, I don't give a damn. I'm not getting in this match. I died. That was funny. So we get to our next match. Though it was a lot of matches. No, not really a lot of talking, which I enjoyed that. It was LEX versus the Veterans of War. Decent match. I gotta say, not as good as the match that LEX and Garza and Laredo Kid had, but it was good. And I think it could have gotten a lot better if they'd have given it a little bit more time, which, with what we got, it was still pretty decent. Homicide got involved, of course. He pulled out the ref, and then I think it was Diamante, or I think it might have been Homicide again. They got the hammer right to Mayweather's knee and really left Wilcox in there alone. And here comes Homicide, hits him with the belt. They hit their finisher, the street sweeper. I think that's what Pope said. It's been their finisher since they came back. And it was a decent match. And LEX is now double champions. So I think what we're going to see at Slammiversary is unification match. It's going to be the VOW versus LEX in probably a way better match. So that should be interesting. It really should. Then, since we were continuing with match after match, we had our X Division Championship match, Low Ki versus Andrew Everett, which was a good match. X Division has been outstanding since Jarrett Smith came back. That's another thing. The Grand Championship Division and the X Division have really benefited from the Jarretts coming back and all of them. I mean, I think every division has, but this X Division, I mean, it has been phenomenal. Like, wow. It's crazy hearing that again in the Impact. But it really has. Low Ki has stepped it up. Andrew Everett has had good matches. This match was good. Really, the kicks between the two is what got me. They kicked the shit out of each other. Like, okay, Andrew Everett was in the corner. Here comes Low Ki. And literally, Pope took the words right out of me. Andrew Everett literally mule kicked the shit out of Low Ki. And I thought he was going to be busted wide open after it. Didn't, which I was surprised. But they kicked the shit out of each other. That move where Low Ki, like, moves his leg around and hits him in the back of the head. Oh, man, that's some good stuff. But Low Ki does get the victory after Andrew Everett goes for probably the best shooting star press in all of wrestling. I've been saying it's probably Evan Bourne, but honestly, the way he hits it is just awesome. But Low Ki does get the knees up, and that looked like it hurt like hell. You can see the pain in Andrew Everett's eyes. And then Low Ki does hit the, whatever he calls the finisher. I always forget it, but it's killer. And double stomp, this time to the back, leads to the victory. And again, Sanjay and Low Ki stare down. They did it before commercial break once, and then at the end of the match, Low Ki and Sanjay dug in each other's faces. A lot of people, skip ahead if you don't want to hear spoilers, a lot of people really talking about how the Impact's going to copy WWE in India. I'm going to be honest here. I think they've had this plan for a while. They were either going to do something with Mahabali Shera or Sanjay Dutt in India. And I think this was planned right around the same time that WWE thing was planned. So really, I think it was a spontaneous thing by WWE and same with Impact. So I want to say that, well, we'll save the other stuff for India. So we'll get back to the Impact review. Like I said, it was one hell of a match with the X Division match between Low Ki and Andrew Everett. So we get into our world title match, steel cage match. I was hyped about this match. I really was. And they killed it. Really. El Patron had control of the match for the first half or whatever, and when El Patron was climbing up to the top, but this is the point where I was like, okay, it's getting good. They go up, and it looks like EC3's trying to hit a German suplex. They're on the steel cage. They're not on the ropes. They're in the middle of the steel cage, right? And, man, if EC3 would have hit that German suplex, I would have went nuts. But Instead, he hits him with a Samoan drop off the steel cage. That looked like it hurt like hell. Oh man. They're continuing to use the cage. They literally beat the out of each other. Like, it was insane. EC3 hits a sit-out powerbomb. We don't normally see EC3 hit that type of move, honestly. Later on in the match, which was another thing that had me out of my seat, a backstabber off the steel cage. Like, are you kidding me? The shit they were doing to each other was insane. So, finally, EC3 looks like he has the match under control. He climbs up to the top. Del Rio, Patron comes up there after him, as I probably will get them mixed up for a while now, but, we'll work on it. EC3 gets pushed down. They kind of go up at it at the top. EC3 falls down and gets his legs hooked. You know how he does that double stomp. Patron is on the top of the cage. The top of the cage. Boom, that double stomp from the Tree of Woe. Are you kidding me? That was insane. Like, honestly, I did not believe that happened. And then he wasn't done. I think he could have had the victory there. He goes to the top rope and hits a frog splash. One hell of a match. One hell of a main event. Well, we got to bring it down a little bit. But sadly, not many people are going to see it as last week. Last week they got back up into 300K, but the finals are on. They're losing a lot of viewers. Let's be honest here. So, I think probably their YouTube views will be up. But honestly, go out of your way to watch that match. That was a classic. Another great match between the two, but EC3 can't get the best of El Patron yet. So, main event of Slammiversary, where we finally get it. Hopefully no more pit stops to get there. El Patron versus Bobby Lashley. So with that being said, let me know what you thought about the show down in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. And I am out. Thank you so much for watching.